Yo, what's going on, man? We are back for another episode of Southern Hospitality, where me and my sister talk about the Black millennial experience in America. I'm your co-host, Landon Moss.
I'm Gabby Moss, and this episode we're going to be talking about our thoughts on cancel culture. Yeah, so Megan Thee Stallion and the whole Tory situation, politics and how divisive they've become.
And that sorry-ass presidential debate. I'm sorry, I had to say that.
It was terrible.
So bad.
Social media in general, and how it contributes to that divisiveness, the language that we use, the words that we use that are highly divisive, and then just an overall lack of empathy and compassion.
Yeah, it's a big thing, man. So how you doing, man? I know we were speaking a little early and you were saying you're a little tired, and I'm a little tired too. What's been going on?
I'm a little tired. I've been working like nonstop, reasonably. But working nonstop because I've been chunking out a lot of content. I've got clients starting to trickle in now. And so just putting in a lot of processes to make sure that I'm as efficient with my time as possible. So that's been taking a lot of my time and energy and mental power. Yeah. So I am a little tired, but it's a good kind of tired because, I'm getting stuff done and I'm proud of myself. So,
yeah, speaking of getting something done, you recently finished something, right?
Yeah. I recently finished my ebook.
Hey,
yeah.
Get her done.
It was a labor of love. But it's start a business, how to start a business in 7 days, takes you through it's kind of like a checklist, but also all the resources that you need to start a business, as far as registering your business, getting an EIN, setting up a business bank account, doing your market research, building a target audience, a buyer persona, like all of that is included. Because I get a lot of, like in my business, I get a lot of questions about that. Like, I have this, what else do I need? And I think it really will help just provide that guidance to people that they have a couple of things and maybe they don't really know where to start, and just help clarify it. So
yeah,
I'm pretty proud of that.
Man.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you too. That's big time, man. It really is.
Yeah.
So Lauren, what is one thing that you recently learned this week?
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just curious on what you learned this week.
Oh,
no, I'm good, man. I just, as you know, obviously, I just moved to my new apartment.
Congratulations!
Thank you. It's cool. It's crazy. I don't remember downtown being this loud. I forgot. I don't remember. I do remember. I forgot how loud downtown is. Like, I was on the phone. I went outside. It's like, I'm like, oh my! I had to put in my AirPods and shit and look all like I got money. But yeah, man, it's been cool. I'm still a little stressed out about that, but it's finally getting settled in. Got everything removed out the boxes and stuff, and it's now just furniture shopping. So stressful, but I'm happy to be here.
Good. I'm proud of you, dude.
What's one thing that you recently learned? Thank you, by the way.
You're welcome. Trying to get to it. All right, we gotta do it. Okay, so one thing that I learned, it's kind of been like over the past few months, is the importance of doing things that scare you. Good things, like not drugs.
I'm scared of this drug. I should take it.
Yeah, the importance of doing things that scare you. One example I would say is TikTok. Like, putting a video on TikTok really was very intimidating to me. And the first couple I put on there didn't do well, which is what I was afraid of. But that goes back to, like, the lesson that I learned is do the things that scare you, because even if what you're afraid happens, you'll learn something from that moment. And I was afraid that nobody would really watch my videos, which I got like 2 or 3 views. But doing that and actually feeling that fear turned into, well, what can I do to make this better? And over time, which was like 2 weeks, I ended up now I'm almost at 10,000 followers on TikTok. Yeah. So it goes back to one, knowing, understanding like what I'm afraid of, like being able to do stuff that scares you. I think a lot of people would be like, just do it. And I don't like that, because there's a lot of anxiety around it. So I always try to work from a place of, well, why are you afraid? What are you afraid of? And that was one thing, like, once I identified, well, what am I afraid of? Why am I afraid of that? I'm afraid nobody will watch my videos. Okay, so what would that mean if nobody watched it? That they're not good. Oh, does that mean I'm not good? am I tying my worth to this? You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
it just helped me, like, when I do stuff now, or when I feel compelled to do something and I get that fear, I stop and I'm like, oh, what am I afraid of, and why am I afraid of it? And what's the worst that can happen? Can I bounce back from it if it does happen? Most of the time it's yes. So
Yeah.
yeah, just doing more stuff that scares you. And I'm trying to lean into that. Like, I have a webinar that I'm going to be doing, an upcoming webinar that I'm going to be doing with this other lady that I linked with, and that's gonna be, because it's gonna be live, so I'm gonna be talking to people live on a
Hey.
webinar. I'm creating a course. Like, all of this stuff scares me, but I realize it's because I'm just afraid that nobody will listen to me, like that it won't be important.
Yeah.
And I'm not linking. I shouldn't link my worth to something, because
Yeah.
I mean it has nothing to do with my worth. I'm creating for the purpose of helping people, and if I help just one person, even if that one person is me, then I've done my job.
Yeah, I think social media is such a big part of that. You know what I'm saying? Like we get we see like damn near instantly, and we see the direct numbers as to what people think of your stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
It's like,
right,
and it's like the more people like your stuff, oh, that means that it's better because more people like it, which isn't necessarily true.
right,
But I
right.
think it's so easy to get caught up, and I think that people who create these algorithms, they fuck with that too. They fuck with
Yeah,
vulnerabilities,
yeah,
but like, you know what I mean? Like our worth isn't directly connected to those numbers.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because
exactly.
I sent you some stuff that I was like, this shit is terrible.
And that
It's
shit is
so bad,
popping, and I'm
and
like,
yeah, and you know what I mean? Like that type of stuff blows my mind. And when I see stuff like that, I'm like, okay, so your worth isn't connected to your likes, because if that was the case, then this shit wouldn't be moving.
like that joint you sent me the other day, bro. That joint was so bad. I was like, it has this. It's the same, like, jealous woman, or woman leaves man for, like, it's leaking with insecurity. I hate
Yeah.
that.
I think the thing that why I be calling stuff bad is when it looks like there's just no effort in it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's like you ain't even try to make this look good.
I mean, it
You know
cuts
what I'm saying?
off.
Yeah, like, and I'm not saying that your cuts got to be like fire, and like they don't got to be like a damn Scorsese movie or nothing like that. But it's like it's a damn. I'm starting like that. It's a
Hygiene.
concept. It's just like a concept that you see and have been seeing since like 2013 Vine. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Hmm.
dude, at some point you got to stop
Evolve.
being insecure over this. But like, bro, let it go. Let it go.
Evolve. Yeah, I'm not I don't really support that anymore, that type of content. I'm
Yeah,
about
because
growth.
we evolve, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Granted,
saying? Oh,
that's the part of journey they're on, but what?
you like freezing a little bit on my screen?
Oh no. I mean, you're
It might
fine on
about
mine.
okay. Well, I'm fine always. So, all right. So one thing that I read,
It ain't nothing new.
one thing that I recently learned was, and I'm not sure if this is a thing that all men feel, but I know especially as a black man, or at least that's what I've experienced. Obviously, is how we've been conditioned to not allow ourselves to be angry. Like we've been conditioned to believe like I can't be angry. It's not right. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or like if I do get angry, it's only a certain level of anger I can show or I
Mhm.
can be.
Mhm.
And so I was in class, and so my class just ended. Man, Miss Elizabeth Mesnick is probably one of not probably she is the best acting coach I've ever had in my life. Mind you, I've only had three, but still by far the best. Um, this whole course, so it's been about 6 weeks. We have two classes a week, and I've just been like, I don't know why, I just feel stuck. You know what I'm saying? I feel like every single class, I feel like I was just stagnant. I was at the same level and I couldn't get past it. And so it got so bad and I was getting so anxious that I just stopped going to class. Like I would find the smallest excuse not to go to class. You know what I'm saying? Like I was moving, but I could easily take a break for an hour and go to class. And it was something else I was doing. Like I can't go to class because of this. But I had to go to a makeup session, so it was me, my partner, and just her. It was just three of us in the class, and so we're going through it again. And she like stops it, and she's like, "Okay, forgive me if I like. Let me know if I'm stepping out of line or out of bounds or anything." She's like, "You're a black man. You're a tall, big black man, and I know, and it's unfair that society has taught you that it's you're not supposed to be angry, or if you are angry, then you're like aggressive or like
Dangerous.
yes, and dangerous. And I know you don't want to be looked at that. And she's like, but here is a safe space, and it's okay. And I just start, I start crying and shit. And then I went through, had a great performance, and then on Friday we went again, and it was the best. I mean, it was like literally the best I've ever had because I just felt so free to like express everything. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like stop right here because I'm like I can't be angry because I'm gonna look. I was like, fuck it, I'm sending it. I'm sending it. I'm going all the way. You know what I mean? And it just made me realize like that we're really conditioned to believe. Like, I mean, society has really conditioned us into like, I can't be angry like that.
Yeah.
I can only like, man, stop. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? I can only be like a little angry. I can't be like full out yelling angry
Yeah.
because then I'm a threat
Yeah.
and I'm dangerous.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's fucked up.
Damn.
But yeah, that was something I learned. And you about to cry?
I'm tearing up, but I'm not about to like.
Oh,
No, I'm just tearing up, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm good.
yeah. But like I said, man, I always, and this is getting off subject, but anybody, I honestly think that everybody should take a Meisner class, especially with Miss Messenger, because dude, it opens you up so much. Like it's crazy because like you got to break down all these defense mechanisms, all these different layers. Like you're like an onion, you're just peeling back layers and
Yeah.
layers and layers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Getting to the core root of who you are.
Yeah.
And it's like, because how can you act as someone else if you can't even act as yourself?
Yeah.
You
You're
know what I'm
not even
saying?
connected to yourself.
Exactly. And so like that's what this class is all about is like connecting, staying locked in, listening, and allowing stuff to land on you. Like it's just man, it's a beautiful class. And I always advise anybody anybody, even if you don't want to be an actor, I just say that you should try it. You should try Meisner class. You try it's not like a promo. You should try to go to Elizabeth Messick acting studio.
No,
Nah,
but
but
she's. I mean, just from the little stuff that you tell me, it's like she's amazing.
oh yeah.
She's amazing.
No,
Wow.
she's a great human being. And then she's a great acting coach as well.
Yeah.
So, and like another thing too, she just did. This is off subject, but she was like, talked to me after class. So I talked to her, and then she ended up. She's like, I got this other student who was kind of going through something similar to you, and so I'm gonna connect you two and let y'all two like kind of like a big brother thing. So me and him just connected, and I'm gonna talk to him after this matter of fact. But just the fact that she did that, you know what I mean? Like she didn't have to do that,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it was dope. It was dope.
That's dope. I love it. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, this is great. It's going great, man. And obviously, you know what I'm saying, y'all. You see the growth in my acting. You know what I'm saying?
Growth. This is
Come
growth.
on, man. Hey,
Growth.
give me. That's one show I want to be on. Is Insecure, by the way. That's like my
You want to be on
the one show I
Insecure?
want to.
Did you
Yes,
write
that's
it
the one
down?
show I wrote a tweet to Issa and I DM'd her.
Okay, that's good too. Write it down and put it where you can see it. Write it down. I'm an avid believer in writing stuff down. Even if you don't believe it or you don't think it's possible, write it down. And then really it's I'm about to go off on a tangent, but it's called watch this Netflix documentary called The Secret. It's really good. But there is power in writing stuff down and seeing it, right? Cuz I mean, even just going back to like representation, like our conversations are representation, seeing something eventually your mind will begin to believe that that is possible, that you can do those type of things. So
Right.
writing it down and like repeating it to yourself, like I told you how I do the affirmations and stuff, like reprogramming your mind to believe that that is a possibility, so then you're open to it when it presents itself, because a lot of times opportunities, especially opportunities that we want, don't always present themselves in the ways that we think they will,
Right.
right? And if we're not open to it, then we miss it.
Mm.
So write it down. Write it down. If that's something
Sure.
that you want to do, write it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of things. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say yeah. I was gonna say no shit. I have nothing to say. My bad. Go ahead.
You're good. No, there's a lot of things that I've written down like in the past, and then because I write everything, and I'll look back over it and realize that I've manifested it and that it's happening. Like I wrote so I think at the beginning of 2020, I wrote down I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to create a community of like people that were flourishing, that wanted to do better, that wanted to heal. I wanted to be a podcast host. I wanted to write a book. And like now I'm looking, I happened to randomly find it, and I was like, wow, all like, I'm almost halfway through the list.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, so write it down. Write it down if you can. Get you like pictures of yourself doing something or like other people doing it. Just see it constantly.
Yeah,
See it. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, dude, that's I didn't mean to go on a tangent, but the definitely the angry thing. I think a lot of black men do struggle with that. You
I think
know.
black people in general, because I think
Yeah.
the same thing for black women as well.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I see that. It's
Lauren,
either
that straw is just sitting there in the middle of the screen.
sorry.
No, I didn't even notice until you took that sip, and I was like, God damn, no, I can't stop looking at
It's
it.
bright and red. um, yeah, but definitely, I do see that in a lot. There's especially like when I think about like the guys that I've dated in the past, just how much anger that they had, but didn't really know how to express it, so it manifested in other ways. So
Mm.
yeah.
Do you think that stems from like our parents as well, though? Not just society, but like our parents doing the same thing of having to like contain that and compartmentalize that anger and stuff?
Yeah, I do. I think about like, how we grew up and that we really couldn't express ourselves.
Mm.
And anger especially we associated it with being bad, dangerous, like
Right.
not good. So we never wanted to reach that point because we didn't want to be that.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that is passed down too, is not really understanding how to navigate anger, especially with black people who, if you're seen as a threat already and then on top of that you're angry, that's dangerous.
Right.
So it's more so like it's safer coping mechanism to box it, bottle it in. Yeah.
Damn, that makes sense, man. Well, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's go ahead and jump
Awesome.
into the topic, man, because we
Cancel
can talk about this
culture.
all day.
Right.
So today's topic is cancel culture,
Culture.
which it seems like this just started happening like in the
Recently.
last like what couple years.
Basically when social media really started popping.
I'm trying to think of like when cancel culture really became a thing.
Who got canceled first?
It's been so many people. I don't know.
What's the earliest rapper got canceled? Did Tiger Woods get canceled?
I don't know if it was a thing back then. He did, but I don't know if it was like cancel culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it was like he's canceled. He just was like he fucked up. We ain't fucking with him. But I don't know if it was considered cancel culture. But what are your thoughts on cancel culture?
Oh, it's very, very, it's unhealthy, it's divisive, it is dangerous. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's dangerous. What about you?
yeah. Sometimes I'll find myself like being a part of the canceling. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'll give an example with the Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lane situation that's going on. So I'm still not even sure. I was gonna get the details of it, but I'm not even sure how accurate they are. I don't know. Like nobody knows besides people that were in that car. And so Meg had came out and she had like gave her side of the story, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, fuck Tory, Tory." You know what I'm saying? Fuck him. Like cancel, cancel, cancel. And I was the same way. I was literally right there. Like especially the thing that I really didn't like, no matter who's right or who's wrong, I didn't like how Tory came out and one talked about it on an album. I
Yeah.
didn't like that.
Yeah.
And then
Using
on
it as
top of that,
clout.
right, and also it's a way to make money,
Yep.
but also it was it the day after Breonna Taylor's case, Breonna Taylor,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
I'm like, dude,
Read the room.
what? What are you doing? That was just dumb as shit. But but because of all those things, and also because of what Meg had came out and said, I'm like, I'm not gonna listen to this nigga. I don't give a damn what you said. You could say whatever you want on this mug. I'm not gonna listen. And then one of my friends was like, I don't know. Like he's like, I'm not sure how good of an idea that is to completely eliminate someone else's side because hypothetically, what if she was lying? You know what I'm saying? He was like, I'm not saying she is. She could be telling the truth. She could very well be telling the truth. But to be completely closed off to the idea that that's the only thing that could have happened, there's no other thing, that could be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that same tactic is the same tactic. What I'm talking about. The same mindset is the same thing a lot of people do. I mean, even like businesses and stuff. Like, let's just say someone came out and said that I did some shit that I didn't do, right? And this thing blows up. So all these people are like, "Oh, Landon did he kicked his dog out the window?" And you know what I'm saying, some like random shit. Landon sitting beside me, like, "Wait, what? I'm sitting right here. What are you talking about?"
What are you talking about?
But the thing is, people will see that it'll be this huge uproar. I'll start losing all these brand deals. You know what I'm saying? All these different things.
Mm-hmm.
I come out with a video of me and Layla. I didn't kick my dog out. She's literally sitting right beside me. Oh, okay. Well, we fucked up. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. But are those brand deals coming back to me? No. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because now, like, that's going to be attached to me.
It tainted your image.
Yeah. It tainted my image. And so, like, there's no going back from that. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing I really don't like is like, oh, cancel this person. Oh, we're wrong. Oh, well, sorry. And everybody
Reputation's
just moves
ruined.
on.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that is so damaging to someone. You know what I'm saying? To their reputation, to their mental health, to so many different things.
Yeah.
And it's like that's not, I don't know, that's so dangerous and it's so fucked up.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like what kind of accelerated it is the Me Too movement. Like
How so?
now that I think about it, because you have a lot of people coming out and they're testifying against one person, and nobody wants to be like a victim blamer. Like nobody wants to be on that side. So it's almost like you're afraid to say, well, what's the other person's perspective? You
Mm-hmm.
know, not condoning anything, but just wanting to understand. Then people look like, well, you don't believe that the victim, you're choosing their side over mine. So now it's almost like, even though I want to know, I don't want to get demonized for one being curious to know the other side. So
Right.
I'll just whatever. We'll just take your word over it. I
Yeah.
feel like that might be what contribute. Like I think it's always been around to some degree, but I think that movement might have like accelerated it because
Mm-hmm.
it's such a thin line
Right.
between wanting to know the other side, or giving the other side the respect to tell their piece, and victim blaming, or making the victims believe that they're not believed. Does
Right.
that make sense? I don't know if
Oh
I
yeah.
worded that right.
No, I get what you're saying. Like I wonder how do you go about that? You know what I'm saying? Without making, without looking like a villain, or like without trying to make it seem, or without making it seem like you're not
Doubting
believing their
them.
side. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not
Yeah.
doubting you. I'm just curious well, why are you curious what the side is? If like, you should just believe me.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, what do I say to that?
Yeah. Maybe it comes at it, maybe to approach it less of a did you really do it, to why did you do it? I don't know, honestly, now that I think about it, because if I say why did you do it, then that's assuming that you did do it, and I don't know
Right.
if you did. So I think that's where the conflict is I almost have to choose without really knowing the full story
Yeah.
ahead of time. Yeah. Um
It's man, I feel like it's just such a divide in everything though.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
there's no, like, you're either liberal or you're like, you're a conservative. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you're like in the middle ground, it's like, oh, so you're a Trump supporter? Nah, I just don't know if this, and it's like, oh,
Right.
okay. So you're Biden supporter? What? I mean, he says some dumb. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. That's really how I feel. And they're like, well, if you vote for such and such, you're this, or if you vote for it's like you almost are afraid to even say like, well, he makes sense on some points, and then other points he doesn't, and he makes
right,
sense on some points and other points he doesn't, because then it's like, oh, you support such and such. I'm just saying both of them make good points.
right.
And I think it sounds like you were gonna say something. You inhaled deeply.
You heard that? Yeah. Nah, you finish your point. I'll say it afterwards.
um, I think that's the. All right, it's gone. Go ahead.
Damn, my
No,
bad.
you good. You good.
Um, I just remember I was watching this one video. and it was Candace Owens.
Mm.
And before I even watched the video, I was like, I text someone like, "Why does Candace Owens' name sound so familiar?" They're like, "Oh no, fuck Candace Owens." And I was like, "Wait, what'd she do?" They're like, "She was the one that was kind of like she says a lot of dumb shit,
She does.
stupid shit, and I hate it." But I was like, "Oh, that's her. Oh yeah, fuck her." And I was like, completely ignored the video. And then I was like, "Well, I'm just curious what she said. Like I haven't even heard what she had to say about." And she was talking about, but it was something pertaining to like I got to go back and watch it. But it was talking about like how black people are like kind of like easily
Oh, I think it's like easily manipulated by the Democratic Party.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember you telling me about that.
And I think that's true. I
Yeah.
think we're starting to change that though. But it's always been like I just think about like I was always told like just vote Democratic. You know what I'm saying? Vote
Yeah.
Democratic. And I still am going to vote Democratic. You know what I'm saying? Like that's still the party that I align with the most. But I think about like because we were just like, oh, well, Democrats we're going with them. They could damn near do anything. They could sneak in so much shit that could end up harming us. You know what I'm saying? And we're just so stuck on this belief that we just have to like, oh nah, yeah, they got us. They got us. We ain't got to worry about nothing. Like, no, you know what I'm saying? Still hold them accountable. Or like, I don't know. That video, I just think that video, it was what she was saying. It was a good point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of the other stuff though, like overall, I can't say I don't fuck with her for a lot of the beliefs she has.
Yeah.
But that one point in particular was like, oh, I think that was good. And I think that's something a lot of people should be aware of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, you said something and it really like I just had like a epiphany. I think a lot of what contributes to cancel culture is the overload of information
Mm,
that we're bombarded with every single day. Like your brain can really only process a certain amount of information. So that's why it compartmentalizes certain things. And that's where the labels come in. If I label something, I can already know what's associated with that because the
mm,
brain can only take so much. So I think what has happened is we've been bombarded with so much information that the brain just once it sees a label, it automatically says that's what that is and that's it. Because I only got so
yeah,
much power, so much operating power I can expend on stuff, and I don't want it. It takes a lot more power, a lot more time to actually do my own research, as opposed to just taking what whatever they say and going and running off with it.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that's what's contributing is just there's so much information being distributed on social media, on media. And then if you even think about the way that that information is being distributed, like in one thing I've been learning in marketing, it doesn't matter how good your content is, you have to think about how does the reader read the content. And the
mm,
first thing that you have to do is you have to hook them with something. If you don't have a good hook, nobody's going to read your content. Doesn't matter how good it is. They might accidentally stumble on it, but it won't keep them on it. So
right,
they make use of like big, bold words and especially emotional words, words that make you feel something. So now you're kind of being manipulated to read something or to engage in something because I've hooked you with something that I know will trigger you.
right,
So anytime you got to think about like anytime we're on online, we're on social media, we're watching me, whatever, everything is designed to hook you based on your emotions.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, when you were saying like you said something, I was like, that's it. It's just there's so much information. We can't we can't process all of it. And so we feel like let me I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to make the wrong decision. So let me just go with this, whoever's appealed to whatever it is that resonates with me.
Do you think that's a large reason why racism and prejudice are such big things in America? Is because as opposed to doing the hard work of like getting to know or like being around black people, it's like, oh well, I've always known black people to be this, so that's what black people are, kind of thing.
I think
You know what
that
I mean?
yeah, I think that definitely plays a role. And vice versa is like I don't want to get to know no racist. I don't want to
Yeah,
like for what? So I
yeah,
think that's where the divide is. It's like if I've
mm-hmm.
never experienced like life through your eyes or understood, how your experience, I'm only going to know my own.
Right.
Yeah. I just think about when I lived with the Indian family for like 2 months. That was a huge eye opener to me. Like a huge eye opener.
How so?
Just in like how they are, um, like my own thoughts towards like I never really interacted with that Indian people before, aside from like in class and stuff like that. But I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
a lot about their culture. I didn't know a lot about their day to day. I didn't know a lot about them. And so just being in that environment and like being around them, and then like the way they welcomed me into their family as if I was their own, it was like, wow. I would like, we really will stay within our own little bubbles unless something happens to where we have to get outside of it. And I see how easy it is for racist people in their in the like country and stuff, and they don't interact with anybody else but each other. How those stereotypes and all that can just it's on a loop the entire time unless they
Yeah.
interact with somebody and realize that our experiences are very, very similar,
Mm-hmm.
very, very similar. And I think that's with social media, it perpetuates this idea that our individual experiences are unique. I'm not saying that, but on a grand scale, the human experience is the same. Cucumber. It worked.
I want you to keep going. You're making such a good point.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what it is. It was an eye opener. I mean, I'm gonna call her on her birthday too, but she would call me her. She would introduce me to her friends as her daughter.
Dang,
Yeah,
that's dope.
cooked. And, we went. Where do we go? We would go walking and stuff. Like it was cool. And I'm like, I would never have this whatever the situation I had led me to that. So it wasn't like intentional, but I was so grateful for it because it's like, man, if we're stuck within our own bubble, we never know that we share similar experiences with people who don't look like us, talk like us, have the same cultures like as us, but our experience is still the same. We still experience love, disappointment, joy, happiness, all of that. Like, and we can bond on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what we do like to combat that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we go about like mixing different people from different cultures? Because I mean, everything, even from like the places we live, the schools we go to, like the restaurants we go to, like it,
Highly
all those are
divided.
divided. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I don't know. It's so weird, man. I think about like when I go like to restaurants that are like bougier restaurants, I'd be looking at everybody side eyed and shit.
Mm-hmm.
They probably looking at me side eyed too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I just wonder how we go about, I guess, mixing people in together. You know what I'm saying? Getting people to have these experiences together. I think, matter of fact, I do think we have a way. And I think that way is through media.
Yeah. Yeah. That same tool that facilitates hate can facilitate love.
Yeah. And I think about like Insecure, for example. I know hella people who watch that show. Like, we've always been portrayed in movies and shit as like, slaves or gangster stuff. And then you see a show like Insecure or like Atlanta, it's like, oh, these are regular people. You know what I'm saying? Like she going through shit that I go through. Like, I'm a white lady and I go through that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one way to go about it. And I'm just thinking about like how I got a sneeze and this shit's been not coming out for like 4 minutes.
You want a peanut butter?
No, I want to keep going.
I think I just always goes back to stories, man. It does. We have to continue to tell our story. Storytelling is, again, one of the most powerful things you can do. And once you realize that and you step into that power, telling your story, helping other people to tell their story, you start to realize that we have more in common than we have that we don't have in common.
Yeah.
So tell your story. And that's why I always encourage anybody who, they have a story to tell and they're afraid. They don't know how people will receive it. Like, tell your story. It will find the people it needs to find, but you got to tell it.
Yeah.
You got to tell it.
Shit, with social media, you got to put it out.
Yeah, you have to.
Sometimes people tell it and be like, okay, that's all I got to do. Put the fuck out.
You put it, yeah, and keep telling your story. Keep telling your story. I always bring up Lisa Nichols because she tells the same story, but she tell it about 15 different ways. It's the same plot, same everything. And I love it. It inspires me every single time I hear it in a different way. It still inspires me because our experience is the same. But I do want to hop into, because we did talk about like social media. Did you have any thoughts on like media and social media?
No. Yeah, I said what I had to say.
Okay. Into like the divisive language that people use.
When you say that, because when you had said that initially, I was gonna let you start with it because I was like, "What the fuck she mean by that?" But can you give me some examples of like divisive language?
So one, crazy. I don't like the word
Mm,
crazy, toxic, negative. I honestly even think positive, like that can be weaponized, right? Like you got to have positive vibes only. That's
mm-hmm.
negative. And the reason why I am hesitant to use positive is that when I look back over the experience that you could deem negative, I grew the most from them. So was it really that negative if a positive came from it?
Right,
And instead of when you put things in a positive negative spectrum, we think this is good, this is bad.
right,
Like, oh, you have these negative qualities. Well, these qualities have served me up until this point. They have helped me get to this point, but now they no longer help me. So
right.
did they go from positive to negative? No, it's just they don't serve me anymore. So I'm trying to reframe the language. Instead of saying something is negative or positive, saying it serves you or it doesn't serve you, or
Mm,
it limits you or it doesn't limit you, right?
yeah, yeah,
um does that make sense? Because
yeah. It does
that's
make
what I
sense.
was.
It also
Go ahead.
go ahead, go ahead. No, go. You got it.
I said divisive, but now that when you brought it up, I was like, yeah, that's probably wasn't the best word for that. So
No, I get what you're trying to say though.
yeah.
Because dude, my nose now is running and like okay. Anyways, um, I just think about we were talking earlier about the word crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and you can call someone crazy, and then from that point on, it'll discredit everything they got to say.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, you believe him? Oh, shit, you crazy too. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And so, and I think that's one thing that, like it's one of those divisive tactics that people use. Like, I think you want to tell Dave, dude, this sneeze is not coming out right now.
Just
Jesus Christ!
peanut butter, and then just get it out, get it going.
And then my shit is stuck under my seat,
Oh my
my
god.
damn microphone. What the is?
Oh no.
Hold on, man. Damn!
Just peanut butter.
Oh my fucking god, bro.
Wait, try blowing instead of snorting in.
One blow it.
Okay, that too.
Hold on, I'm trying to figure out what this is stuck on. Hold on, I gotta unplug. Hopefully this shit doesn't like stop recording because of this. Yo, so my clumsy ass somehow got the cord stuck under my chair, rolled over it, and it pulls out. I try to reconnect it, and it did connect. So at some point, it'll switch to computer audio. So I apologize in advance because it sounds pretty crazy. But yeah, I just want to give you guys that quick note, and thank you guys once again for tuning in. Enjoy the show. So we were talking about crazy earlier, and you had said something about Dave Chappelle. I'm not sure if you said crazy or what.
Mhm.
The thing you were saying with Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle. It's an interview he has long time ago, and he was talking about like how people would deem certain Hollywood celebrities crazy when they would go off and start doing stuff. And I think the example he used was Martin Lawrence waving a gun in the air and like in the street saying they was trying to kill him, and people had laughed it off and called him crazy. And he was saying, if you look at these people's lives and see what they've gone through to get to that point, they're not crazy. Like these are very strong people. And then he was saying that it it's not the person that's crazy, it's the environment that they're in that's crazy, that they're reacting to in order to survive. That's crazy, but the person isn't crazy. They're just responding, they're coping in the best way they know how to survive.
Yeah.
And I think even with like calling people toxic, calling people negative, it's the same thing. Even with the when I think about the people that I dated, the people that I interacted with, and if you really hear their stories and the stuff that they've gone through, it's like, of course you would act like that. You had to survive to get to this point.
Yeah. That just made me think about Kyrie Irving because something recently came out that he was talking about. Um, he's like with Kevin Durant. He's like the first time he's felt like he had a teammate he can rely on to make the last shot.
Mm.
So everybody's like, that's a shot at LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Because he played with LeBron for 3 years, obviously. And I just think about how everything that he says, it's always like oh, this is him being toxic or him being a bad teammate, and it's because people have labeled him that for so long.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So anytime he says anything that's like even slightly little off, it's like, oh, he's toxic, he's about to break the team up, he's blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? So people label him as a bad, and it's annoying. Anytime he does anything, it's like bad teammate. He doesn't care about nothing. He's about to leave. Like,
Yeah.
damn, bro, what?
Yeah.
And I think people just lack empathy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I think the further we go along the same route, the further away from being empathetic we'll get.
Mm-hmm. More
Like the
divisive.
further, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's no way we can get shit done.
Yeah.
No way we can get shit done if we don't have the empathy to see the other side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't hope it doesn't sound like I'm saying I'm like above it because I'm still working on being empathetic too.
Right. Right. It's always a work in progress.
Exactly. But like I'll see something I don't agree with, or like I think about I had this woman in my Uber, and so I go to drop her off. I still don't. I'm okay. So I dropped her off. Her truck has the Blue Lives Matter logo, like the blue flag the cops have. She got a Trump pin sign in her yard. I'm like, oh, this motherfucker racist. And I was like, why am I saying that? I don't even know her. But these signs. But why am I saying that? You should get to know her. But these signs. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like it's tough. It's tough for us. It's
Yeah.
tough for us because being empathetic to white folk can land you in a potentially dangerous situation.
Right. And that's the thing
So
that's the part that messes me up is like just
yeah,
because I'm open to the thought of being empathetic doesn't mean the other person will be.
yes, yeah, and
You
so
know what I
that
mean?
fear is like I don't want to trust them and then get duped.
Then get got.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I'm
yeah,
gonna get mine before I get got.
okay.
But
No, I feel that. I think that's how I felt like with my former boss. Is we had some pretty vulnerable Zoom calls and stuff, and she's like, I let her know I don't trust white people. Like I really don't. I struggle with that. She's like, you gotta trust me. You gotta whatever. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give it a try. And then a month later, I'm fired. So I,
did exactly what I thought you was gonna do.
exactly what I thought. And so then it's like, I knew I shouldn't have did that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
type of shit makes you close off, and that type of stuff like this is a tried and what's the word like when you
Tried and true.
tried and true. You know what I'm saying? Like I tried to trust y'all. I tried, and this is what happened.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Randy, because I remember I was talking to Randy about it, and he was saying like, I get that it's hard, but when you automatically cut that off, you also cut off like opportunities to build with people that are genuine and do care.
Right.
And that one way to help you over that is to identify red flags because they're always there.
Mm.
So knowing the red flags and identifying them can help you. Not saying that it always works, but that can help you kind of divide the ones that are authentic and genuine in their
Yeah.
interactions and the ones that really just want it's a means to a mean it means to an end.
Mm. I feel
But
that. The rest of the Eames team.
okay, shout out to Marcello.
Shout out to Marcello and the fam.
Yeah, but I still struggle with it. I still struggle with it. I am finding though one way that we're at 45, but
Okay.
one way that I've got I ask myself if something involves me, like does this business involve me? If not, I'm gonna leave it alone. It's none of my business.
When you say involve me, what do you mean?
Like, is do I really need to share my opinion on this?
Mm.
It's very rarely do I really need to share my opinion on something, and I try to measure it based on like, does it directly affect my life? No. Does it directly affect somebody's life that I care about? No. Is there I'm gonna say toxic message? Is there a toxic message here that you can talk about to help shed light on?
Mm.
If that's the case, that's when I'll involve myself. But it's not. I really try not to get into that whole, especially bitter Twitter,
Oh my
because
god.
Jesus Christ,
Dude, it'd be so hard not to say stuff.
that's
Cause
why I
it'd be
stay off
shit that
Twitter.
I mean, same thing with Instagram comments though. It'd be some stuff that be so outlandish and so stupid, and the thing that be pissing me off, like I can read a dumbass comment,
Yeah.
but when it's a glorified dumbass comment, then I'm like, are y'all serious, bruh?
Really?
Like this shit got like a 2,000 likes on the comment. I'm like, that is so far off. What do you mean? And so I'll catch myself. I'll be typing, and I'm like, why? You ain't the teacher. You ain't the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. That's another thing with that is understanding again how much mental power do you have for this? Like I got
Mm,
to choose what I'm going to spend my time on. It's
right.
not furthering me, if it's not furthering my family, black people, like if it's not doing more good, then I don't need to be spending too much time on it. I'm not going to be in the comments going up and back and forth with somebody.
Yeah.
Argue with yourself.
That type of stuff makes me think about someone who gets canceled. Like I think about like you remember Brother Nature?
He got canceled?
Yeah.
Wait, what did he
Do
do?
you not remember? So he had that whole
No.
thing. He had that whole thing. I think it was like a year. Bruh, go through his comments one day or anything on Twitter. Just go to his Twitter one day and just look at all the. They gonna be like, nigga, you thought we forgot? We ain't forget, nigga. Like they be on that man's head. So basically, what had happened? He had got like beat up in this bar. I don't know if it's a bar or restaurant, but like the video just shows him like getting up and he. Oh, you alright? He said, hold on, I'm about to cough. Hold
I
on.
knew it was coming. My bad. Okay.
No, you good, you good. Okay. You gonna be alright? Got any more
Hold your
coughs to
breath,
get out?
Gabby. Hold your breath.
Yo, that shit doesn't. One time I did that shit and I was coughing for damn near an hour after.
What? Okay.
We'll talk about this after.
Okay.
So.
I'm good.
so
I'm good.
I hope so. So basically, what had happened, he there's like this video, right? And so we see like the tail end of it. So he had got like, you know what I'm saying, they're beating this man, like two dudes. It was like, damn, what the fuck going on? So you see him like run out, and it was like, damn, yo, y'all just beat up Brother Nature, bro. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's so messed up. And so he was going along with it. Like with that, with it was like, damn, these dudes just beat him up for no reason. Like that's Brother Nature. They just hating, you know what I'm saying? Play hate. Then the video comes out of what really happened. My man was like acting tough around these two dudes. And he was like, bro, watch out, bro. Like, watch out. And then that's when they beat his ass.
Oh, so he instigated it.
Yes. And then
Mm.
made it seem like he was the victim afterwards.
Mm.
And then the real video came out. People were like, wait, Brother Nature, you lied. And so
Oh.
in his comments, people still be like, we ain't forget.
Dang.
Lord, it's been like a year.
Oh, wow. Dang. Mm.
Oh, man.
I mean, that just goes back to what you're saying, knowing the whole story.
Yeah. But it's hard to.
It
You know,
is because it's being
because
manipulated.
who would have, I mean, who would care to, like, and that's one thing that I hate that like politicians and social justice warriors and stuff do. They'll show a piece of a video but not show the whole context.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
so it like you see it and you react because it's like, damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
But then I guess that same type of argument could be used against like black people as well. Like, well, what do they do to for this? Oh my god. You know, people be like, well, what did they do? Like, why is the cop choking them out?
There's really no reason why I should be getting choked out. I ain't did
Thank you.
nothing. Like,
That's like,
it is exactly what it is. It is
yeah,
exactly what it is. What you see. Yeah.
yeah,
I feel like black people. Fortunately, we have video now.
yeah, yeah. But people are getting smarter.
People are
They start to manipulate
weaponizing that.
videos.
Yep, weaponizing that. I mean, it was Okay, go ahead. What you?
You heard that deep breath I was
Yeah,
about to take?
use it. Say
I
it.
got
Say it
some
now.
shit.
Say it
So
now.
I don't know if I told you about the time. So there's one spot called Top of Topanga, and it's like this like overview of the city. It's so beautiful. So I go up there like a lot of times. I'm like working on scripts or just like read scripts, like memorize lines. So I'm up there, you know, I'm talking my zone chilling. And then I heard these people arguing. I'm like, okay, ignore it, ignore it, ignore it. They're arguing, they're arguing, they're arguing. I'm like, okay, I say something. So I turn around and I'm like, just like, what the fuck going on? I'm just watching it. They're arguing back and forth. He's like, I'm calling the cops on you. Like, lady, you're crazy. Like, so basically, he said he had to leave because she was parked in like this little red spot that wasn't blocking nothing. He was just trying to be like a damn. I'm like, bro, do you work here? Like, why is it bothering you that much? He wasn't about to leave. So then he pulls out his phone. She pulls out her phone. She's like, he's harassing me. Like, I'm just trying to do it. And he's like, this lady's like, she's bothering me. She's bothering. So they're literally telling two different sides of the story. And it's like, I'm looking like, what the fuck are y'all doing? I'm like, hey, yo. I'll just move my car, bro. Like, and so I moved my car. She parked there. And then they kept arguing and stuff. And I'm like, yo,
The
it's not
problem
that.
solved.
I was starting to get heated. I'm like, it's not that serious. Like, you're parked, you're clearly not leaving. Like, what's up? And so they stopped arguing and stuff. And then I looked back, they arguing again. And so her boyfriend came in, the dude drove off. But I'm like, was all that necessary?
No.
You know what I'm saying? And the fact that they tried to use these videos to weaponize, or not weaponize, to like
Weaponize is the right.
criminalize,
Oh
whatever,
yeah,
whatever.
criminalized.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? The other person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, it's a tactic that I think a lot of
Manipulative.
people use. They manipulate the videos and what's really happening. Like,
Yep.
and then
Yeah.
you post that video and it's like, oh, that's so fucked up. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
I don't know. I just hate how people do that now.
Yeah. That brings me when I was in my master's of marketing, I had a market research class and we had to do research on like the difference between Atlanta and New York and like the pros and cons of living in one. And can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. The pros and cons. So when we first got the assignment, he was like, all your research needs to show why somebody should live in Atlanta. And then halfway through, he said, now use that same research to show why somebody should live in New York. The same research I used to show why Atlanta was better than New York, I had to turn around and use it to show why New York was better than Atlanta. And what we had to do was take out certain pieces, bump up certain pieces, same information, but now I'm manipulating it so that it points in a different direction, but it's the same information. And that was one of the things that he wanted to drill home was just because you receive a piece of information doesn't mean that it's completely accurate. It can be manipulated to further whatever the author wants it to further. So make sure you do your due diligence and you do your own research and understand how they did their research so that you can come to the most accurate piece of information to make your own decision.
But people are too lazy for that.
Right. Exactly.
Like they allow other people to think for them. And this is honestly why I think that the rise of influencers is so big. You know what I'm saying? It's because this person,
for you.
Yes, this person is thinking for me. I can trust this person. They either made me laugh in a hard spot. Something about this person is why I trust them so much, and that's why influencers are so big.
Wow, Landon. Yeah. Mind blown right now. Yeah, that makes so much, and why it's only rising.
Yeah.
Like it's only the influencer market is like projected to be in the like billions if it's not already there yet, because we trust these people to make decisions for us.
Right.
Wow, Landon. Wow.
But I think it's honestly because like everything is so on demand and people are like lazy when it comes to like doing their due diligence on shit. Like instead of looking into it, this person like I know Landon knows shit about social injustice, so I'm just gonna whatever he says, I trust it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That I would almost replace lazy with entitled.
Which meant
like people feel entitled to it now because it's expected. I remember one of the videos you sent with that girl that be talking about like millennials and stuff and how people were saying that we're entitled. And she was saying that entitlement comes from getting something and not believing that you have to or that you're capable of getting it yourself. And so when you said like influencers are rising, it's because now we're so used to getting told what we should, so we don't have to expend the mental power on that. We can rely on somebody else to do it for us. People are feeling they're becoming entitled to certain things. And they feel entitled to information, to certain pieces of information and how it flows.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
I'm about to write this book, man.
Yeah, you need to, because I'm literally like, whoa, you just said like, yes, that is it. That is it. That is really why people trust influencers and why honestly they have way more leverage than celebrities do.
Yeah. Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you, Lauren. I got this AC back on. You see the sweat on my head?
I know. I see you like going like this.
I mean, I'm sweating.
I noticed you were sweating before we started the podcast.
Well, it's because I cut the AC out because it's like that should be loud as hell.
Damn.
So I'm not gonna lie. We had 50. I see 56 minutes. I don't know what time you see, but I'm about to wrap this
57. No, we're good.
I'm in this mug. My back is drenched.
Hey, baby, hot.
So yeah, man, that was a great show. I'm gonna end this real quick. All right, man. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Do it right, baby.
Shit. All right, man. Once again, thank y'all for tuning in for another episode of Southern Hospitality. With me and my sister talk about the Black millennial experience in America. Lauren, you got any last words you want to say before we sign off?
Nope. We have almost reached 800 downloads, y'all. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. We're excited. We got something coming for you when we reach 1,000. So
it's gonna be
stay tuned.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're looking forward to it, man. As always, make sure you guys subscribe, share, as you all been doing. We appreciate it, man. It keeps us going, keeps us motivated. So, as always, we appreciate everything y'all do for us, and we will continue to try to do everything we can for y'all. So, yeah, man, we're gonna wrap this thing up. Thank y'all once again. I'm your co-host, Landon Moss.
I'm Gabby Moss,
and we are